You know, obviously starting off is always good, and everybody's excited about being back. You know, as you can tell, there's a lot of new faces. You know, so it's a team, you know, that we made changes to in the off season, and you know, we're not done yet. You know, in terms of all those changes, but I think you know, as a result of that, there's a good spirit. I think you've talked to some of the guys. I think they're excited about being here. They're excited about the opportunity to play in Seattle. You know, and that's really exciting. And you know, as we continue to move forward, you know, I think we're going to develop a team that's going to be very good and very cohesive.
What kind of goals do you have for the first day of training? What kind of things do you hope to get out of the team?
Today, the first day of training, you know, we just wanted the guys to play a little bit, you know, so we can establish a little bit where they're at fitness-wise. We wanted to see, obviously, the new guys play. You know, you don't want to do a lot of fitness. You know, you want to see them play before they get tired. And when we come back this afternoon, we'll do more you know, shooting and things like that, more of a technical training, and then we'll sort of get to work next week. But today we just wanted to see them play, let them play a little bit, and you know, get all their excitement out of their system as well.
In the brief time that you had today, what are your initial thoughts of seeing them work out together?
Excited, you know. I'm excited because of the new bodies and the new people that are out here, and you know, and the possibilities that leads to, you know. And so already, you're able to say certain things, you know, to guys. Hey, you know, you see some of the things he does now. Expect those kind of passes, and you know, and so, you know, just trying to build it all over again. I think that's the exciting part of coaching is it's a mosaic that takes on a different shape each time. You got to look for the pieces of the puzzle that fit together. But at the end of the day, you know, I think having a team that's changing and a little bit younger too is a good thing for us right now, because I think it brings that spirit, and you could sense that spirit in the locker room before they came out here, and you could sense it on the field.
As you headed into the offseason, do you anticipate making as many changes as you did?
We knew we were going to make some changes going into the off season, and you know, I think we accomplished most of our goals. You know, one of their goals was to become a little more athletic, to become a little younger and faster. You know, we wanted to get some young center backs in as well, because we felt we had a whole group growing old sort of together back there. I think we accomplished that, and now we just got to finish up a little bit, you know, in midfield. You know, we're still trying to finalize things there, but we've already got, you know, a good start on that, and you know, and it's great to see Brad and DeAndre doing really well. You know, and Clint obviously over right now and with Fulham, but you know, those are still key parts that aren't here right now.
From the outside looking in, at least, it seemed like Oba was maybe coming back, maybe not coming back. How can you just talk a little bit about his situation and how good it was to have him here in training?
No, it was good for Oba to be here in training. We met earlier this week, and you know, this is the first extended break that he's had in a long time, and he felt pretty rejuvenated. I mean, he took advantage of his break, and I said, "How do you get fit?" He goes, "I just want to play, and I'll do my sprints." And you saw his effort out there at training today. I mean, he works hard, and you know, that's Oba, and he has that flair and that ability to make things happen and score goals. So I mean, he's excited. You know, we're excited about having him back. I think it's great that he had that break, and he comes into the season refreshed and ready to go.
Do you begin camp with a presumed 1-2 in terms of a goalkeeper? Is there a pecking order yet?
No, we're training. You know, there's no pecking order anywhere really right now. We want to see how everybody does, how everybody comes along, everybody develops, and you know, obviously there's expectations. You know, I'll say that there's certain expectations that you have, but you know, right now, you know, it's the first day. You know, there's a lot of things ahead of us still.
Obviously, in a salary cap league, not every move is necessarily voluntary or wanting, you know, to improve the team. But is the change, particularly at center mid, was that an area that you just thought you had to come back better this coming season?
Say that again. The change in.
Well, was that because you wanted to get better rather than because you had salary that you had to get rid of?
Well, I mean, you know, it's you know, obviously salary cap is always something that's part of your decision-making process, and there were certain things that were salary cap driven, but there were also certain things that were driven by a cap, along with also trying to change maybe the mix as well, and so that was something that we were also trying to achieve. But in our league, always, you know, salary cap's always there to a certain extent.
When in the training camp process, will you be thinking about the shape and the style of the 2014 squad?
You know, I mean, we have an idea of in terms of what we want to do. We want to play two up front. You know, we think we're better with two up front, and Dempsey I think is more effective when if he has two guys in front of him. You know, so that's the first thing we're going to try and achieve, and you know, from there, it's like I always say, people get too hung up with is it a diamond midfield, is it a 4-4-2, is it a 4-2-3-1? It's all about how players play on parts of the field, and players are, you know, like to play on certain areas of the field. They like to drift to certain areas, and so we just need to construct a system, if you want to call it that, but more place guys on the field where they can complement each other and be able to take advantage of where they like to play and what they do well, and so that's the thing for us. So it might be a midfield where on one side of the midfield and the player tucks in a little bit more, on the other side of the midfield he plays more on the touchline, you know. So it all depends. It might look like a back three sometimes, because obviously we know right now we have a right fullback who has the ability and likes to get forward. So so do we chain him to the back, or do we let him go a little bit and slide across? So you know, that's the way I believe in coaching. You know, I don't believe it's I've got this rigid system of, okay, you got to fit into the system or else you're not going to play. I think we got to take advantage of the talent that we have at our disposal, and you know, I think the back four for us is a very unique example where you have a guy like DeAndre who can get forward and can get forward effectively. So now I think the system has to allow that and has to incorporate that.
How do you handle the challenges of Dempsey being so integral to that system and wanting to get some cohesion established, but him not being around for the preseason?
Well, it's easier than last year because we know he's going to be coming, and we know, you know, what he can bring because he's played with the guys. The guys know him better as well because they've played with him, although some have not at this stage. But I have a good idea where he's going to plug in. But it was important for him to go back to Fulham this offseason, you know, and to have that experience. That was something that was there contractually, also something that was there in preparation for the World Cup. And, you know, we probably won't see him till a day before our opening game because of the U.S. national team game as well. But, you know, it is what it is, but it's much better than it was last year.
And what's the situation with Shalri?
Shalri is, you know, he's still a member of our team, but right now he's not really in our plans. And so, you know, as we move forward, we'll see how that finally resolves itself. I don't know what the ultimate resolution will be, but right now he's not in our plans for this season. But he's on our roster.
Where do you guys stand health-wise? We saw kind of Leo off to the side, maybe Bates getting some treatment.
Leo's the only one who had off-season surgery, and so Leo's going along right according to plan. And so, you know, we knew that, you know, it'd be a couple more weeks into preseason, and we're hoping, you know, by the time we get to Charleston that he'll be able to participate in games at that stage. You know, Bates is something that came up through training over the last week, you know, training on their own, and something they found on the physical. So he's somebody that's probably out right now for at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Have you had preseasons in the past where this many fans came out for the first day?
No, this is a first, definitely, and that's one of the things we talked about to the team. We said this is what makes Seattle unique and what makes Seattle special is those people over there, those fans over there, and you know, our connection to them and their connection to us, and our you know, accepting of each other is something that's very special to this place.
What do you think it did to the energy level of this training session?
Oh, it always helps when you have people watching. It always helps, you know. Keeps the language cleaner on the field, too.
Where would you guys interested in bringing Marco Papa in, as reports suggest? And is there any update on that?
I don't know what the update is on that right now. I know we're second in line on the allocations, and so, you know, it's something we're you know, we're aware of, and we're thinking about, and we're talking about, and how it ultimately resolves itself. You know, what we think now might change in 30 minutes, might change in 30 minutes after that. So.
Do you think this roster gives you more flexibility than you've had in the last 4 years?
Yeah, I don't know if more flexible. It's just, It just, I think it's good sometimes to bring new faces into the roster, and just because I think it brings new enthusiasm into the team. So bringing in some younger players, youth players, you know, Sean Okoli and Aaron Kovar, you know, just like DeAndre, sort of that spirit is great, becomes infectious. You know, I mean, I saw Jimmy Traore running around like a little kid in the locker room the other day, you know, and it was just, you know, he was just happy, and you know, I think that part of it helps. So is it flexibility, or is it more? It just I think it's like a shot of adrenaline for everybody, and rejuvenates everybody, because there's some new faces, exciting faces, and people have been at other clubs and have been around the league, and then they get here and they say, you know, guys, this is pretty damn good, and you know, I think that helps everybody who's been here from day one too.
So is that a feeling or something that you can describe or had experience with coaching at other teams? I mean, do you think the energy is a better feel here?
Yeah, I think the energy feels really, really good here right now, and you know, I think that's something that we wanted to achieve, you know, in this period of time, and it's, you know, something I know, you know, talking to, you know, he's retired now, but Sir Alex Ferguson, he says you always need some young guys, you know, for that enthusiasm. You always need to make some changes, because it just keeps everybody, you know, engaged, and you know, that's, I think, what we're getting.
With so many new faces, how does that change the dynamic of this first training and maybe the importance of this first training?
Well, for some guys, you know, obviously the stuff is new, and you know, every coach has a certain way that he trains, and I know I have a certain way, so some of the exercises are maybe not exercises that they've done with other teams per se, you know, not necessarily 6v6, but, you know, playing possession, playing to the 4 goals that we did, and so it takes them maybe a training or two to understand, oh, okay, this is the objective of this particular exercise or whatever, but it'll come. It'll be good.
Was Leo an adductor or the hip or the groin, or I was trying to remember what his injury was?
No, it was a groin surgery. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. Excellent. Good. Thank you.
Coach.
Give your full 90 with the Sounders FC mobile app, featuring live audio, matchday blog, and much more to keep you connected. Download your app at soundersfc.com/mobile.